Yes. Hi. I'd like to speak to your manager, please. I have a return, and I think that the only one that's going to understand me is your manager. I want to return, but I want to exchange it for something else. What do I want to return? My broken heart. Yeah. And I like to exchange it for something a little less inconvenient, a little less painful, maybe. Yes, we are talking about the bargaining stage that I promised. Yes, we are. Stage three, bargaining. Yes, this is Gilead Hess with Into You, the movement. I promised you I was going to bring you stage three of the grief series, which is bargaining. Yeah. Can I speak to your manager? I'd like to return this broken heart for something just a little less painful. If only we can do that. If only. Let's talk about this grief stage. So this bargaining stage is simply a negotiation, making agreements, all the what ifs, if only, all the things, right? Negotiating with a higher power, negotiating with yourself. Let me give you some examples of negotiating with a higher power. So basically, if you save my loved one who's undergoing a very critical surgery right now, I promise I'll go to church every Sunday. If you just save my loved one, if you bring my loved one back who has recently passed, I promise I will be this stellar individual. I will do all the things that you want me to do and I'm supposed to do. If only you bring my loved one back. This negotiation, what if only agreement stage, it could be used for divorce events because that's grief, right? Losing a job, that's grief, right? That's a grief event. Yeah, yeah. That's simply bargaining. Bargaining is simply that. And, the thing is, it's not such a bad stage. I mean, when we think these stages of grief are not bad stages, they're coping mechanisms. And this one is especially a coping mechanism because you're really just kind of challenging your mind, playing with your mind. So you're really not focusing on the actual loss. You're really just being very creative with your mind. Yeah. Yeah. You're thinking about everything else other than that loss that you just experienced, which is just your mind coping. Your body has coping mechanism, your mind has coping mechanisms, which is so good because one of the things I was saying in the other uh, episodes, excuse me, I was saying how grief can affect you, physiologically, your body, and that's because of the cortisol, which is a stress hormone, right? That gets released when you're not dealing with, trauma, right? And that is the kind of one of the big ones, really, the cortisol, because it pretty much deals with it rises the blood sugar and deals with the inflammatory issues. Not pretty, okay? Because it can pretty much untreated can cause some fatal type of health issues. Okay, and then epinephrine, like really adrenaline type. That's like your heart rate increases, your breathing is all out of line. Um, these are all things that you want to make sure that you're getting treated for, or you're dealing with your grief from a coping standpoint, so that you're not causing more, um, I'd say, more kind of fatal type, physiological type injuries to your body. So that's why it's so important to deal with your grief. So another thing, like, and when you think, well, hey, Gilead, yeah, I hear you. So how am I supposed to do that? Well, bargaining is negotiating, and the what ifs is part of it, right? Using that creativity is part of it. But the other part is, as I've said before, meditate. Get some time. Y'all so tired of me saying meditation. Is y'all tired of me saying meditation? Okay, good, good, good. Hopefully not. Meditate. Get some time to yourself. Gosh, so much happens. So much silent communication happens when you meditate and you breathe. You make the body feel really good, right? Because you are talking through the situation, and it allows you time to talk to a loved one, right? Which is so important, because it almost like makes them feel close, or it makes you reason through why a divorce happened, why a job loss happened. You can reason through all of those things because you have that silent time to think and talk, to yourself and a higher power. Journaling is always so good, because we hold so much of our thoughts inside, and it's so good to kind of get them out on paper so you can really deal with what your feelings really are, like what you're really feeling. And also, my favorite, is getting out, moving that body, right? Let's have good heart rate, like good activity, to raise that heart rate. Like I said, I love pickleball. I love pickleball. Isn't that crazy? I do. I used to love to run and, lift weights in the gym. But I became a mother. Time has kind of got crazy. We'll talk about that in other shows, right? Just kind of life happens. So now I just do fun things like pickleball. I love to go walk the mountains, kind of like the rock climbing kind of thing. So if you like to do that, do that. Swimming. Oh, that feels good if you like swimming. I don't know how to swim, so that's not one of my choices. Also, just like riding your bike, if you'd like to bike ride, simple walking. Oh, the thoughts that come through your mind when you're walking. Oh, yeah, the things you can deal with when you're walking. So that's also a good way, to move through this bargaining stage. Remember, those are the kind of things that you can do, but your body's defense to it is going to do the negotiating and agreement and the what ifs, and only it's going to have its own creative way, of dealing with, the grief. So I know this stage really, we don't have to spend a lot of time on it because it's just kind of like just short, plain, simple, just easy. It's one of the easiest stages, right? We won't spend as much time as we would on anger or depression because there's so many levels of those two. Obviously, we did anger previously that we would go into, and depression especially. I will say to you that if you feel yourself not becoming centered or feeling well, feeling healthy, if that you find yourself having, going down that path, I'm feeling unhealthy. I'm not really feeling well. I'm kind of foggy. I'm at this shortness of breath. I am just really down and I don't want to get up. Can you promise me that you will seek therapy? Because therapy is really good. I don't care what anybody says. Therapy is really good. You have someone sitting there that will listen to everything that you're feeling without judgment, right? And you could talk through all the things. And I just think that that would be if I find a really good therapist. Don't find any, really put some time into it. It's really good. I'd like you to also try to reach out to friends and family. When I say that, reaching out to friends and family, I want to make sure that it's safe friends and family members that you're reaching out to. Okay. Because if you're not in a safe place, you're not really going to open up all your feelings. And two, I'm not sure, like, if you're not in a safe place, what type of responses that you will receive back from those individuals that may further set you back as you're traveling the journey of grief stage, the grief stages, right? So we don't want you going backwards because you're going kind of move forward and backwards anyway on your own because it's kind of how the stages work. But you don't want to be going, you don't want to move backwards, slide backwards, you know, based on what someone has said to you or treated your grief, right? This is your grief. You own it, you travel it the way that you want to, and don't let anyone tell you you're doing it wrong. Okay? It's yours. I just want to make sure that you don't sit in each stage. Just don't sit there. Get out there, be healthy. Okay? Awesome. So, this is just my quick segment. Nothing heavy, nothing deep on the bargaining stage because it is like I said, it's quite easy. Okay? So, next stage, yes, it is going to be testing. Yes, that's our stage 4, is testing. So I look forward to seeing all of you into you, the movement, for our episode 4, testing. Until then, get out there, enjoy this hot heat because it's hot. Okay, enjoy that and just get, breathe and move through this life because guess what I said? Life is happening, right? That's what you do with it.